Hi, I'm Richard, and I'm a King James Bible believer, and so generally when I go places that I suspect will have King James Bibles, I'll go take a look, see what they have, and sometimes I find something quite interesting, and this time is one of those cases. So here I have the Thomas Nelson KJV single column Bible. Right here you see you have large print type, Bible reading plans, and concordance. Just so that you're forewarned, I'm using an iPod camera, so the quality may not be very good, the audio may not be very good, but nonetheless, I wanted to show people this, so here it is. Now you'll notice right here, this is colored in gold. It's not colored in gold on the actual Bible. And it says black leather soft, and it is quite nice. It's not super cheap feeling. It doesn't obviously feel like real leather, but it is quite nice. This is a pretty unique setting, and I'll describe why in a little bit. Let me just read the back first, though. Right here it says single column format with large black letter type, paragraph style text ideal for easy reading, translator's notes, Bible reading plans, and concordance. So I typed in the ISBN on the internet to see if any other sellers sold it, to see if I can get it for a lower price. And when I couldn't find anything on Google, I actually contacted the publisher, and they wrote back to me, and their response was quite interesting. So I'm going to skip the beginning, and I'll just read the rest of what they said. They said, "This ISBN was a custom product, which means we never offered it for purchase directly with us. I have no information other than either the company that requested the custom product either did not want or ordered way too many and offered the product through our remainders program." So this is pretty unique, and I'll show you some other unique things about this. So let's take this cover off here. So as I mentioned before, you can see this is not colored in gold, it's just black, sort of embossed. And on the side here you have it again, pretty nice styling. And you have the old Thomas Nelson logo on here and the old Thomas Nelson KJV logo. So just to show you some other external features, you have a silver gilt edge, you have a ribbon marker, and you have your glued and sewn binding. You have a page in between your presentation page and your cover here. Here's your presentation page. And actually, just as a side note, this is extremely similar, if not exactly the same presentation page that you get in Thomas Nelson's Pocket New Testament. And it's just kind of interesting because of the fact that it looks so similar, but it's so much bigger. Actually, I have my Pocket New Testament here. I'll show you. See that? In any case, older logo and everything on this thing too. This is a more common one here. So to go on, you get your title page. You get your standard sort of thin Bible paper. And just to read to you what it says in this table of contents, you have abbreviations, formatting and footnotes, epistle dedicatory, then the books of the Bible. Then down from there you have read your Bible through in a year, 30 days with Jesus, 90-day overview of the Bible, passages for the Christmas season, passages for the Easter season, and concordance to the King James Version. Now, this concordance is quite interesting because of the fact that, particularly on more contemporary Thomas Nelson prints of the King James, they'll just basically copy and paste their New King James Concordance. But this is a special concordance here, and I'll show you what I mean. So you can see these copyrights from Thomas Nelson, but then you have this last one for the concordance by Blue Heron Bookcraft. So this is a custom concordance in this. Now, I've looked at those passages that I suspected may have been attacked by the footnotes if you had additional footnotes in this, which it does tell you that it has. But from what I could find, it doesn't attack the text, so thank God for that. That's nice, sort of benign, I guess you could say. And I'll just read about the formatting of footnotes to you. It says, "The poetry formatting of this setting follows the groundbreaking formatting of the Cambridge Paragraph Bible of 1873. The footnotes are also derived from the Cambridge Paragraph Bible. All footnotes by the original translators of the 1611 edition of the King James Version are included, Important and useful footnotes from later editions are included in square brackets. For example, and then it gives you some examples there. You could read those, I think. And it's nice they included the epistle dedicatory, which I appreciate. I like that. And then it just starts in the Old Testament. Now, another thing I really appreciate about this edition that's unique is, again, and as probably people who are familiar with Thomas Nelson King James Bibles know, they change the titles of the books to be like the New King James, and I think they even do the same with the headings on the pages. I don't believe that any of these have been changed in this one, from what I can tell. And if you see, they put those titles at the beginning of the paragraph, which makes sense. Now, just to show you the formatting of the Psalms, you can see you have sort of this paragraph formatting because it's single column here in your regular books, and then in the Psalms you have that special formatting, which I'm just going to show you really quickly. See that? I think they do it also in the other books of poetry. This isn't the Bible that I regularly read, so I'm not maybe as familiar with it as some other people might be, but I did look over it, and it does look quite interesting for those reasons that I had mentioned. So let me just show you, for example, one of the titles of the books. One of the ones that stands out pretty consistently is the title for the book of Revelation, because in most Thomas Nelson editions, at least contemporary editions, will say the revelation of Jesus Christ following the New King James title. But this one actually does say, as you can see, the revelation of St. John the Divine, which is that original King James title there. So just to show you that concordance really quickly, I think you'll find that quite interesting. We're almost there. I just don't want to go past it, and I'm reaching over my camera. I'll take this opportunity to show you some of the other things here. So here's your reading plan. Don't want to rip the pages either, got to be really careful with that. 30 Days with Jesus, passages for the Christmas season, 90-day overview of the Bible. And just to be clear, just because I'm showing you these things, this should be obvious, but just to make it clear, I don't necessarily agree with everything in the appendices, but I suppose this could make it helpful for people. I'm not a huge fan of them adding in this passages for the Christmas season section, but may be helpful for some people. It's really just the title I have qualms with, I suppose. And then you have your passages for the Easter season, which I don't mind so much because that's in Acts 12:4, Easter. Now you have your concordance to the King James Version, and as you can see, it's in smaller print than the rest of the Bible. And you have some text up here. And I'm just going to read that to you really quickly, but I'm going to bring the Bible closer to me so that it's easier to read because it's kind of a small print. For each verse quoted in this concordance, an italicized single letter is used to designate the word entry. The text chosen for each word are in Bible book order under the entry. Occasionally, the verses under a word entry contain different forms of that entry. For example, under the word abound, entries may contain abounded or abounding. Those alternate forms of the word have been placed in parentheses after the keyword. The context of each verse will help the reader understand which form of the word fits the italicized letter. So here it is. Flip through a tiny bit. The print isn't super small, but it's a little tiny. And you might be able to tell I have the iPod's LED flashlight on, and that's because it's kind of dark in this room. So if it looks a little strange the way I'm showing this to you, well, that's why. Now, just to get to the end, you have 1,624 pages in this, minus at the beginning, those different sections it mentions are lettered with Roman numerals, which is pretty common, or numbered with Roman numerals, rather. So up here in the contents, like I showed you before. Now, one last thing that you may find quite interesting is just to see the notes and some other random features. So, for example, in Psalms 119, from what I remember, some editions of the King James will not feature the Hebrew letters along with the word. I'm not entirely sure if the original 1611 did that, but in any case, this edition does do that. So you have the Hebrew letter and then the way you say it, basically. And I'm just going to show you what those references and notes look like. They're not super extensive, which is sort of what they were aiming for, I believe. So here are those, and that's a good example of what you can expect and kind of how they're going to look. You also have your standard text with the italics and all of that, so it's not all the standard type. And Lord in the Old Testament, and I assume in addition God and Jehovah are in the all caps as they should be. I'm not sure if there are any editions that make it one cap with lowercase, but I assume that probably happens. So here you have that there too. So I think that about rounds this out, and I hope you found this interesting and helpful. And if anyone else has one of these going around somewhere or has maybe the backstory, knows the backstory to this edition, that might be interesting if you want to give that feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.